Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jack and welcome back to another video. And I apologize for not posting a video yesterday, but I was absolutely exhausted, to say the least. And even with that being said, I still couldn't sleep enough and or properly. But I was able to take about a nap for a good 3 hours or so before posting this video. So I feel the difference right now. And there was no way in hell I was going to leave you guys hanging for 2 days straight. You know, I really, at this point right now, I've gotten to a point to where I really hate it if I miss a day of uploading. So I apologize for that, for those of you guys that were expecting a video yesterday. But anyway, there's something I wanted to talk about in this one, and that is obviously that we're going to have a weapon balancing or tuning or whatever you want to call it patch coming up soon, or sometime. At this point right now, whenever Treyarch says that so-and-so is going to be the time when they're going to release a patch or an update or anything like that, let's take the date with a grain of salt. Let's take the release of patches and things like that with a grain of salt, because quite frankly with this game, there's been a lot of delays, like for instance like league play and a couple of other things, and obviously there's been some omissions that obviously the fans have been asking for, like things like the combat record or leaderboards. Obviously they can't make or break a game, but they are features that us fans have gotten used to over the years, and it's kind of heartbreaking that those things are omitted. But with all that being said, I also wanted to say that I believe that this wouldn't surprise me, though. There might be some crazy shit going on behind the scenes at Treyarch. It wouldn't surprise me at all. There might have been a good number, some people that have quit or something like that. You just never know. And these guys are just really, really good at keeping it under wraps, obviously. So, and the thing is, usually we don't find out about this stuff until it's already happened, and months prior or months after that. So, like for instance with Infinity Ward, as you guys know, back during Modern Warfare 2, when Zampella and West left, they took the majority of their team with them. And recently, well, not recently, but it was announced like maybe over a year ago that a handful of those people have left Respawn Entertainment and have come back to Infinity Ward now. So when things go back and forth like that, it's just like you just really never know. You really never know. So anyway, on to the topic at hand here. So with this weapon balancing, there's basically 3 to 4 weapons that are basically the highlight that I'm looking at right now that they might tweak a little bit, and there's also possibilities that they might not, and I'm going to get into that in a bit as well, because it really is something that anything could happen. I mean, the thing is, some of you guys in the comment section, and I've said this before and I'm going to say it again, some of you guys in the comment section believe that this Treyarch team is not the exact same Treyarch team, which kind of goes hand in hand with what I just talked about. If there were any members of the old Treyarch team, and this is just speculation, this is not something that I know for sure or anything like that, this is just my brain working, and you guys can let me know what you think about it as well. But the thing is, if there are a whole bunch of members of Treyarch that have departed the studio for one reason or another, or a multitude of reasons, and if they had to get a whole bunch of new people in, well, to some of you, it certainly shows in that aspect, because in the comments section, some of you have said that there's no way in hell the same Treyarch that developed Black Ops 3 developed Black Ops 4. So in that aspect, it kind of makes sense now, doesn't it? But anyway, regardless of whether or not that is a thing, the thing is that we're looking at a few weapons specifically that we have our eyes on, and that is the Titan LMG, the Maddox assault rifle, the Spitfire submachine gun, and snipers. And the reason why I say snipers is because during a tweet, the guy that's in charge of multiplayer, I forget his name, I think his name is Tony Flame, I believe. He basically said that he mentioned snipers in one of his tweets. So basically, I don't know what's going to happen with the snipers. Some people are saying that they might get a buff because we requested earlier on in the game that they be nerfed, but what did they do? They did the exact opposite. They buffed it instead. So a lot of people are like, yep, they're going to get another buff once again. So you just never know. And in terms of the Maddox, my love over here, I love the Maddox. I mean, when I start playing this game during any given session and I start using the Maddox, I just absolutely love it. It definitely fits my playstyle, and I absolutely love it. And if it does get a nerf, in my opinion, what would make sense to me, in my book, the way you should nerf the Maddox is by giving it some recoil. and not much. I mean, just some recoil. And the thing is, the Maddox as well as the SOG, for instance, right, are weapons that are used for competitive. So as far as competitive is concerned, the weapons that I've seen that are used consistently are the ICR, the Maddox, the SOG SMG, and the sniper. What is it? The Paladin, I think. I think they're using the Paladin for that. So those are mainly the weapons that I see. I don't see the Spitfire or anything like that. So for you guys know how crazy they are about competitive. So if they do touch the SOG or the Maddox, I don't think they're gonna touch it so much to where the pros are going to be switching weapons. So in that aspect, in the way my mind is going, the Maddox and the SOG are still going to be good. And in the way that I think that they're going to nerf the SOG, at least that would make sense to me, in a way that would make sense to me, would be to nerf Stock 2, because a lot of people are using Stock 2. I think the pros just use Stock 1, if I'm not mistaken, but they could be using Stock 2. I could be wrong. But Stock 2, I'm told, is absolutely ridiculous. And if I've used Stock 1 on the SOG myself a few times. I don't use it very often. I don't use the SOG or the Spitfire that often. But I can tell you one thing: that Spitfire, though, is really, really strong. And after some playtime with it, you could definitely master that weapon as well, even at a decent distance. I'm not necessarily suggesting long distance with that weapon, but if we're talking short to medium range, you can do some damage with that thing. So in terms of pubs, I think that weapon might get a nerf. I personally think that maybe they should just leave the Spitfire alone and buff the other SMGs like the MX-9, the Cordite, or the GK5 or whatever it's called, the GS5, or I don't know. I haven't used SMGs for so long in this game that I forgot what they're called. Go figure. But I personally think that the other weapons could use a slight buff as opposed to just nerfing the hell out of the Spitfire. And the SOG is pretty good as is, so just buff the other weapons, really. But you guys know how it goes. They'd rather nerf one weapon than buff a handful of them because it means less work and time for them. So it is what it is. We've been dealing with it COD after COD. That's the kind of mentality that that these guys have, and it makes sense, especially from their point of view. But as fans, we want our weapons to remain to be good, so that way we can continue to use them. Because all of a sudden, if another weapon that gets, all of a sudden, if a weapon gets nerfed that used to be good, and then we don't like it that much anymore, we're going to be looking at the other weapons to see if it is better. And usually that's what ends up happening a lot of the times, except for the MSMC over at Black Ops 2. The PDW, though, in the beginning of Black Ops 2 was really good, and then they made the recoil so unpredictable that people just didn't use it anymore. So, and as far as the Titan, I don't know how in the hell they're going to nerf it. I have no idea. The weapons in this game don't really have all that much recoil, in my opinion. At least from the ones that I've used, and I haven't used like too many of them. I've only used like maybe 5 or 6. Well, actually no, I've used about 7 or 8 different guns. I just consistently stick to 2 or 3 now, just because I just really like the Maddox, for instance. And every once in a while I'll switch when I'm in the mood. But yeah, with this weapon patch coming up, and with all the possibilities behind the scenes and everything, and when you put 2 and 2 together, as well as the things that you guys have said to me, they really could go so many different ways with this. With these buffs and or nerfs with this upcoming patch. And I'm not sure if they announced a release for the patch as far as a date is concerned. It could be next week, or it could be the week after that, but just so that way we don't get overly disappointed, don't hold your breath, because things, especially with this game, have been delayed time and time again. So try not to drive yourselves too crazy over that one, guys, because that's what it's been like this year. It is what it is. So let me know down in the comment section, what do you think? Do you guys think that there's maybe some turmoil or something like that going on in the background within the studio? Or do you think it's something else? Or do you think it's a combination of everything that I mentioned here today, as well as other things that have been mentioned in previous videos? Like the fact that, well, they're just focusing a lot on Blackout and the rest of the game has suffered for it. But anyway, let me know down in the comment section what you guys think. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay and the commentary. And as always, if you did, let me know. And if you didn't, let me know what I could do to make my videos better. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.